Hello again everyone from Tokyo, Japan, and welcome back to Japan Vintage Camera. And today we're going to be having a look at another Yashica twin lens reflex or TLR camera. In this case it's going to be one of Yashica's most popular cameras, the Yashica A. If you're interested in purchasing this Yashica or another vintage Japanese camera, I sell these in my Etsy and eBay stores. Please check the description below the video for links to my stores. So, the Yashica A was introduced in 1957, and it was the export version of the Yashica Rookie. They're pretty much identical in all aspects, and those of you who saw my video on the Yashica Rookie, you won't learn a whole lot new in this video. The Yashica A is one of the more popular cameras which I sell. And I tend to have a hard time keeping these in stock. They sell almost as quickly as I can get them. People really like these. The features of the Yashica A are a really nice Yashica 80mm f3.5 lens. And we have two lenses, of course, on a twin lens reflex camera. We have what is called the viewing lens on the top, and this is what you look through using a reflex mirror to compose and focus on your subject. And on the bottom we have the taking lens, which projects the image onto your film. Around the lens we have the shutter assembly, and on the right side, as you're holding the camera, we have the shutter cocking lever. You cock the shutter and press the shutter release button here to take an exposure. On the other side here we have the lever which selects the aperture. It's quite simple. And on the other bottom side here we have the socket for attaching a flash gun. On the left side here there isn't much to look at. We just have a shoe to mount a flash gun, and we have the pins, locking pins, which hold the film and film spools in place. On the other side here we have the film winding knob, and we have the focusing knob. I'll go over briefly how to operate the Yashica A camera, and we'll start with loading the film. I'm not going to load film into this camera as I don't have any 120 film on hand, so what I will do is I will pretend I'm loading film by simply using a take-up spool. So to load the film, you open the back door by turning the locking lever, which releases the claw which holds the door shut, and just lift it open like so. And the bottom here is where you place the film spool. You place it so the film meter can be pulled out and around the rollers. I place the film spool like so, and an interesting thing about the Yashica cameras that other TLR cameras didn't have is that this locking pin can be locked outwards. You pull it out and turn it a little bit and it will stay open, and when you put the spool inside, turn it and it will pull itself closed. When the film is loaded into the camera, take the paper tab and pull it up over the two rollers and feed it into the take-up spool, and then wind the winding lever, and the paper will move slowly across the film chamber. The paper backing will have arrows on either side, and what you do is you line up the arrows on the paper to the two arrows which are marked on the back of the film chamber. Once the arrows on the paper backing and the film chamber are lined up, you simply close the film door, lock it by turning the locking ring clockwise. You open this little window on the back, and then you wind the film until the number 1 is centered precisely in the center of this window. The Yashica A is a 12 exposure camera, so the numbers will run from number 1 to number 12. After you've taken number 12, then you've used all the film. Once you have the film loaded in the camera and you're ready to shoot it, you open up the viewing hood, and there's a focusing loop which pops up by pushing this door backwards just a little bit, and that causes the focusing loop to pop up. You focus and compose the camera by looking through the focusing loop and focusing on the ground glass. It takes a little practice to use these cameras because the movements seem to be opposite. When you move the camera to the right, the image moves left. When you move the camera left, the image moves right, and you have to make sure to hold the camera level and square with your subject. With a little practice, a day or so, you'll be able to get the hang of it. So when you have your subject focused and composed, you need to set your exposure. So I start by setting the correct shutter speed, and then setting the aperture for the situation, charging the shutter, and then while composing carefully, just pull the shutter button, and that's it. You've taken your first shot. Then open the door, wind the film winding knob until the next number comes up and you're ready to shoot another exposure. The Yashica Flex A is a very simple, no-frills camera. There are a few things which can go wrong with it. It's a really reliable camera and very good for people who are just getting into film photography. These don't have any light meters or anything like that. If you're getting into shooting film for the first time and you have an all-manual camera like this, you can download a free light meter app for your smartphone, and this will give you the settings you need to make the adjustments on your camera to take a picture. Simply set the film speed of the film you're using in the camera on your light meter app, and then point your phone at the subject as if you were going to take a photo of it. And the light meter app will show you what shutter speed and aperture settings to select. It's quite easy. So anyway, that's it for my review or my overlook of the Yashica A twin lens reflex camera. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And please stay tuned for more videos. Thanks a lot, and see you again soon.